Okay, Keith. Things have been going so very well for Tranmere, and I know disappointed by the Walsall home defeat, but losing to Exeter, it was a real bump in the road given the circumstances and the nature of the defeat.
It was a bump in the road. I'm sure that we played Exeter last Saturday. You know, with respect to apologising, yes, I played my part in that. I exposed the players where I shouldn't have done, you know, but that was off the back of what I consider to be a very, very good performance against Manchester City. So after making my apologies, you know, it's move on. I don't regret, you know, doing what I did, but I've learned from it, and the players have learned from it. But I don't want any negativity. If you look at the last 11 games, I think we've won 9. So it's about revisiting our successes. It's about progression and forgiveness. I forgive myself. I've answered the question why it happened during the course of that game. You can't afford as a team to make the type of mistakes that we made and get anything out of the game. But the biggest mistake was from me, you know, and I understand that now because I've answered the question. But Sunday morning, I wake up, dress myself down, get dressed, make the relevant phone calls, and we focus on, you know, moving forward together as a group. I'm excited with working with this group and making sure that we have more successes, and we will. There's no question about that. We've had an excellent week on the training pitch. Again, I'm not a sulker, you know, and I don't expect the players to sulk. I expect them to, you know, learn from the mistakes, but move on very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the players have had a good week in training and they've bought into it. Is that a difficult thing to do after a heavy defeat, or maybe it's easier to do because of the nature of the defeat and the players are more open to learning about what went wrong and why?
Well, I think you become humble after defeat. You have to be. You know, the good people, the quick learners, they become humble. They ask themselves why, and then we move on. I can't allow Exeter to ebb into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we're on Thursday now and we're talking about Exeter. I know it's the press, but the last time I spoke to Exeter about Exeter to anybody was Sunday. So the way that the football world moves, it's so quick. We were focusing on playing Stevenage. You know, we were ready. I saw that on Monday. There was a great spirit, and there's been a great spirit all week. It makes you more humble. You're willing to listen. You're willing to learn more. But I don't look at the league table. I look at the teams that we've got to play, the games that we've got remaining, and where we need to be after 20 games, where we need to be after 23 games, going into the second half of the season. So we are on point to achieve those targets and the secret targets. But the players have responded magnificently, you know, and again, like I said, you know, I've forgiven myself and I move on very quickly. And that's just me and my nature. I don't dwell too much in the past. You know, the past is a great place to live, you know, but we often, you know, find ourselves talking about the past. You know, we want to create the future. And part of our future is what happened at Exeter. And it gives me a great insight to the dynamics of the football club, a great insight into the dynamics of the players. And I'm understanding every day as I'm working with this group of players, relationships. So I'm really, really excited about working with this group, especially after being beaten by Exeter.
Yeah. Bolton to come this weekend. They've had their own difficulties over the past couple of years or so, but their form in recent weeks has improved after a difficult start to the campaign. What do you make of this challenge, and what sort of test will they provide?
I think the challenge is about us. I think the challenges are there for us to put right and play the way that we know we can play in and out of possession. I think we previously spoke about Leeds. You know, we have to make sure that we're comfortable with what we do in and out of possession. As much as we know about Bolton, you know, Bolton's team lineup could change, you know, especially in the current situation with COVID, the current situation in the football world with injuries. So we've been focusing a lot on ourselves and what we need to do and get back to what we're good at. So it's the basic, simple messages. We've got to simplify things, you know, and that's what we intend doing on Saturday against Bolton.
Yeah, and you're hitting this patch now where, I mean, the fixture situation in League Two is congested in any case, but now we're coming to the sort of Christmas period where it's even more congested, and the strength and depth of the Tranmere squad you feel will serve you in good stead.
Well, I certainly hope so. I'm expecting so. You know, there's no excuses. We've got a squad of players, and the team will be selected from the available players. The non-available players, they can't make an impact. So we can't draw any negativity to potential injuries, etc., etc. So we're pleased, we're positive about working with a group of players who are fit to play against Bolton, then fit to play against Bradford, then fit to play against Barrow, then fit to play against Colchester, and then the 2 cup games that we've got coming up. So, you know, it's a brilliant time to be a football player as well over Christmas, you know, because we love playing the game of football. So they're all special opportunities to represent Tranmere Rovers and the supporters. And trust me, the players want to play football, irrespective of whether they're playing 3 times a week or whether we're playing over Christmas. We've got to play 46 games, league games, potential playoffs, and the cup games that we've still got remaining. And all the players do want to play in those games.
Can I just ask you, team selection-wise, for the Bolton game, injury problems, players who aren't available, players who are coming back after injuries? What's the story?
Thursday, you know, so we had our problems last week after Thursday. So today we've got virtually a fully fit squad.
Great. Thank you, Keith. Best of luck for Bolton.
Hi, Keith. Obviously, a first trip back to Bolton for you. Of course, you know all the staff there. To you personally, would it mean anything more to you to get a result there over an ordinary game?
No. I mean, I don't personalise too much. You know, the things that I take personal are my family. You know, this is business. I wasn't at Bolton for any great length of time where you can have successes that the Bolton supporters expect. 29 league games. It's not enough to make an impact. It's as simple as that. You know, they're under a good ownership, they're under new management, a new set of staff, a new set of players. You know, but League Two is very difficult.
Do you think, obviously, taking into account that Bolton will be further announced from Matt Hancock today, so they'll still be in Tier 3, and there'll be no supporters there. Tranmere obviously now got supporters in their ground. Do you think that'll give you any sort of advantage, knowing it'll, you know, in terms of there's been no home support there, a level playing field in that respect?
You're always looking for small margins, you know, to get an advantage. I don't think it'll be too much of an advantage having no supporters in the ground. I think it would have been an advantage for us to have supporters in the ground.
And finally, from not expecting you to show your tactical hand ahead of the match, but obviously off the back of a defeat and a good week in training, might you make a number of changes this week, or you know?
I think we've got certain values that we insist on when we're playing the game of football, and if those values are met, irrespective of tactics, shape, then we'll be successful.